I really wanted to like this thing. It's one of the only true lay-flat hammocks in existence. A hammock that even side and stomach sleepers can use. But to be honest, it just feels like a gimmick more than anything else. So a little while back, I was sent this Haven tent to try out, and I was intrigued because I've never been a big fan of hammocks, mainly because I'm a side sleeper and hammocks just aren't good for side sleepers. But Haven tents are different. They're more like a suspended tent than a hammock, so I wanted to try it for myself to see what it's like. And after spending some time with it, I think I've decided it's a cool idea and all, but in a real world scenario, it's just impractical. So right off the bat, the biggest problem with the Haven tent is the weight. This thing weighs almost 8 pounds for a one-person shelter. 8 pounds. Now, that includes the air mattress, which most shelters wouldn't, but I have 4-person backpacking tents that don't weigh that much. Even without the air mattress, this thing is 5 pounds alone, and you can't even change the air mattress for something different because the design is dependent on this specific air mattress. So right off the bat, the only time that I would even consider taking this is on an overnight trip with low miles. Anything longer than that and the weight is just impractical to carry. But even if you can get past the weight, a Haven tent just feels small on the inside. And I even got the extra large size, which at first I didn't think I needed, but to be honest, I can't imagine this thing being smaller than this. Imagine a tent that is only as wide as your sleeping pad, and that's basically a Haven tent. Now, the extra large is 30 inches wide, which seems like it ought to be enough room, and there are cool options you can do, like suspending your pack or other gear from the ridge line to keep it out of the way. And honestly, I think that I could get past it if this was a minimalist shelter. You make sacrifices for benefits and weight, etc. But if I'm carrying this much weight, it better have more to offer than just being suspended in the air. One of the things that I think adds to the small feeling is the fact that the air mattress bows in the middle when you lay on it. It's not quite rigid enough to support your weight without folding in on you a little bit. Now, this certainly isn't as bad as an actual hammock, and it is possible to sleep on your side or even on your stomach if you want, but it certainly makes it feel more cramped on the inside. Now, this is going to be worse on an extra large size than it is on a regular because your weight isn't spread out as much across the air mattress. Larger hikers will experience less folding on the extra large size, and smaller hikers will experience it less on the regular size. But needless to say, the more the hammock that you take up, the smaller it's going to feel. Haven tents are a little finicky to set up. You have to set the head slightly higher than the feet, or once you lay down, your head is going to be downhill. You have to make sure that your hips are centered, or you're going to once again find your head is too low. As you're getting in and out of it, or just moving around inside of it, the mattress has a tendency to shift to the left or the right, and it's very difficult to reposition without getting out of the hammock. And once again, these are all things that I would be willing to compromise on if there was a really strong benefit to be gained. But as far as I can tell, the only benefit is the fact that you are suspended off the ground, which, if I'm being honest, just feels a little gimmicky. There's only one very specific scenario where I could see wanting to take this. If I wasn't going very far and I knew that I wasn't going to have flat ground on my campsite, which just isn't very realistic. You're most likely to find uneven campsites off trail, which if you're going off trail, then you're probably going to want to go fast and light. And if you're staying on trail and you're just going on a short overnight with just a few miles from the trailhead, that's the area where you're most likely to find well-established and flat campsites. But it's not all bad. Haven tents are well made with quality materials. It's relatively affordable at $315 for the regular and only $335 for the extra large, which for a high quality shelter, that's not too bad. There's certainly larger and lighter and cheaper shelters out there, but at least you're not paying $400 to $500 for this thing. It does offer some versatility in the fact that you can set it up on the ground with a couple of trekking poles if you want, but once again, there are much better trekking pole options out there on the market. I can see this working okay for a car camping situation where you don't care about weight that much, but even then it seems like you would only be bringing it because it's cool to be suspended from the trees, which, to be honest, makes this seem more gimmicky than anything else. If I'm going to spend $300 on a single shelter, there are a whole lot better options out there. And if I had lots of money to spend on multiple shelters, once again, it seems like I would only be buying this because it's different and would maybe get me some attention to the campground. So once again, it just feels gimmicky. I do need to let you know that I was sent this shelter free of charge for review, but even so, I don't feel like I can recommend it. It's not bad. It certainly won't hurt you. The only danger that I see is wasting your money. So those are my thoughts on the Haven Tent lay flat hammock. What do you think? Am I off the mark or am I dead on in my assessment? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like it below. And if for some reason you do decide to buy this, help support me by buying through the links in the description. I'll earn a small commission at no additional cost to you. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at My Life Outdoors. And as always, thanks for watching.